Morning team, morning. Lots to get through this morning. Market moving violently overnight, and we're starting to hit some of the levels we went over in the newsletter from the weekend. Okay, so what's this looking like? Well, very dangerous of a failed break here. All right, this is going to start to look more and more dangerous, especially, all right, one thing to be aware of today, which we haven't really looked at too much, is if ES can't hold, all right, these zones. All right, we haven't back tested these, so this is actually healthy. What's happening here in terms of ES, but if it fails to hold these, all right, it's going to start to look more like a topping formation, all right, which is we've seen many times elsewhere. All right, so make sure you're aware of what's happening. We come right back into the range. We're not showing strength of holding above this range, and the true edge here is kind of into these 800s. All right, right here. We can trim this down a bit. All right, so this morning, if we can't reclaim sort of 800 to 30,000, all right, if we can't reclaim and do this over the coming sessions, then the rotation back to the bottom side of the range becomes available. And if we lose that, all right, then this starts to look like a failed break. All right, and we can rebalance some of this and we'll see what else comes in. So that's what we have this morning. We obviously have an outside bar. If we just look at the weekly, all right, we've still got a little way to go to get back to previous week low into these 550s. All right, and we're only at Tuesday. So it's a big move overnight as well. We just think about how ATRs increase 1.5% down overnight. We are into neg gamma as well. So that's also going to push your ATR further. And we're going to be more violent. And if you're watching the VIX, all right, VIX is doing exactly what I talked about in the newsletter and last week. All right, we came down to yearly lows in a market which doesn't really and shouldn't really be down there, and we're right back at 16s. All right, so if we break 16s, we'll get going. Right, let's just have a look at the hourlies so you can understand the pressure that's starting in this market. All right, we have previous week value area low down here. All right, and we have the weekly expected move down here as well. So we're coming into that weekly expected move range and previous week value area low. This is certainly looking like a failed breakout now, and it's certainly trapped volume. So what we had yesterday was short with this volume trapped at the highs. All right, and we've now broken down here, and this volume is now trapped at the highs. So the easier move is short side. Once we leave this, unfortunately, trains left the station, and we're opening up back down here towards potential demand blocks. So the easy short is up here, right? So what we're going to look for this morning, if we're lucky, is a drive that gets sold into. All right, the easier move at the moment will be a drive that's sold into. I really don't want to be a new seller down here. It might not give me a chance. Market might freak out this morning, but we will see. So if we can come back in to this low volume node built overnight, all right, somewhere in these 800s, potentially all the way up to the high 800s, 870, all right, previous week point of control. If we can come back in here and they stuff it, all right, I'll be looking to trade down to after a Globex lows, and if we can increase the sell pressure, great. If we come back up here and hold 800, then I'm going to think that maybe this market's going to have a go to fill this void in. This is a big sharp move, all right, from 30,050 to 29,030s, 29,930s. All right, so there's just over 100 points in here. Somewhere in here, the market is likely to find sellers. All right, so if we do get an extended move up today, that will be the next sell point. So I'm watching sort of 800 to 850s, and then I'm watching 930s up to sort of 30,000 range. All right, and I want to be a seller in these zones. All right, as long as we haven't taken out all of this first. If there's renewed weakness at the open and there's panic coming in, all right, I don't really want to be a short seller down here, but what I could wait for is for the market to come under it, push back in, and then we can think about an exaggerated move into the next block. But remember, this is the weekly expected move. 80% of the time, the market will find a bid out of that. Doesn't mean today's that time, because as you can see, it's a violent move lower. If we're going to be a buyer today, all right, what you're going to need is somewhere in here to hold. Now, it might be that it needs to take the liquidity first. It might be that it just has 3 attempts and starts to turn. And then if you're going to do that, you're playing counter trend relief. The same idea would be into the areas. All right, you'd need to be taking partials into the areas where I was just talking about getting short. All right, so if you hold that bid, great. Maybe you get a renewed squeeze up, get short. What I am going to do here, because the move has been big, is just mark out this Globex value area high. And let me do one for here, and let me do one more for people with control, just so, because the range is big overnight. I don't always do this, but the range is large, so I am interested. Okay. In terms of gamma, all right, we're neg gamma now, which is why you're getting these bigger moves. All right, so dealers are having to sell in the direction of the move. So the ATR has increased. It also means that if they do find a bid and we start to go the other way, dealers will start to buy quickly. They'll start to buy. I don't know why I can't draw over that, but we will start to buy back quickly. Can we draw this? Wow, trading views got a bug. All right, it will start to buy back quickly as well. All right, so the moves, as you can see, snap back, sell down. They're very fast and hard, right? This is very different to the market we've been in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. Just remember that, right? You need to change how you're trading. Your sizing needs to be very, very careful in this market. If you are loose with sizing in this market and you take a rough entry, you are likely to be heavily punished. Heavily punished. Okay. Let's go through why we're starting to do this. All right, let's start on the ES. Failing key pivot up here. There we go. Coming back down and in underneath the VWAPs. All right, like we talked about, next area for it to really target would be some of these retests back down here. So we're into a huge put wall here. If they lose this put wall, all right, if they lose this put wall, I would imagine a flush back down to check. Look how thin we are for this breakout here. So anywhere in here, we can imagine a back check, and we'd imagine buyers are going to be hanging out in here somewhere. If they don't hang out here, then it's trouble for the market, isn't it? We're going to go next leg down, and we're going to keep searching for areas where buyers might be on an overextension. But we're seeing weakness in the broader market. All right, this is just like the lower time frame pattern we talk about all the time. Think about this. Did any of these late bulls get punished? No, they didn't. They bought the overextension, and now they're punished. This is just... it happens all the time, folks. Learn to look for that on any time frame. It's very, very common. Market will not reward late bulls. Eventually, they will get punished. That's what we're seeing at the moment. If we look at the spiders, you're looking exactly the same. All right, coming back for a recheck. We're opening up down here. Remember, it's pre-market. We're opening up down here, and we can see if we can retest these old lows. Where's my delta? All right, so the levels for SPY. Move this in. All right, if they stay heavy at 770s, neg gamma continues and maybe an extension move lower. If you reclaim 770s, then you get back to neutral zone and we can talk about what's next. But at the moment, 770s are your pivot to sell against. QQQ, got to get a move on it. All right, same kind of story, but a bigger gap. All right, and it's the same level really. 725s, and we increase downside pressure underneath here. All right, the next level under 18s. If we lose this neg gamma, we'll be into these wicks at 715s. Okay. If we look at why we're getting there, crude. All right, crude breaking out, and we talked about this last week, and we talked about that this week. There's your pattern. This is not under 80s, is it? No, it's not. It's held 80s. We're still at war with Iran. There's still problems in Iran. It doesn't matter what you think of the president. This is going on and on and on, and Iran will keep in this forever. I've said it for ages and ages. This is how they're going to fight this war, by not ending it. It's very simple. They've got nothing to lose. They're staying it. Well, America has everything to lose here, and this is now a problem. And if we start reclaiming this for a push of 90s, you have to be very, very concerned about the inflationary issues that this is going to cause. On top of that, VIX is starting to move back upside. All right, we came to yearly lows. We're already at 16s. We break 16s. Remember, it's OPEX week. This is always very, very dangerous. This pattern, I talk about it all the time. It's very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous when we see this in VIX. Okay, so if it holds above 16s, renewed pressure to the downside. When we look at the mags, all right, move this to an hourly quickly. Gapping down here. All right. And we have some key levels way, way, way below. So renewed pressure in the mags. We saw the pressure come yesterday, and we're starting to lose all these key pivots now. And this can come right down back inside. Remember, things like Amazon have a big gap to fill. We have the same on Soxal. Huge gap down. All right. Failed to break higher. There's your failure to break higher. Stuffed. There's your gap. All right. Just a ginormous gap down. We are into a level of demand here. But again, I mean, this is the condensed level. We would expect some form of retest up here, 140s to 142s, and then see if they sell it. All right. And if we stay heavy under here, we can wash out all these old liquidity pools. If we look at the individual names, you're going to see they're all having the same issue. Just before we do that, I want to show you what's happening in yields, just why all this is happening. All right, continued pressure upside. We just move to a daily. Oh, dearie, dearie, dearie me. Okay, massive move here on the daily. This is where the pressure's coming from. All right, that's the highest point since before 2008 now on the 30-year, and it's going to continue to push higher. We come down, the 10 years also starting to follow suit. So the lower ones are now starting to follow suit, and that's what's causing the problems. MAG, have a quick look here. I don't know, we've got 3 minutes left. Amazon, sorry, we start on Apple, my bad. Can we get the flow zones back? Thanks very much. All right, actually gapping up on Apple, so holding well, doesn't have the same AI infrastructure issues. So it's actually holding okay, but we're inside of a range here. Amazon gapping down, but inside of yesterday's range, an inside bar there, so we can watch for breakouts each side right now. Goog, okay, gapping down as well. Fresh lows here, decent gap down. We'll see if they stuff PDC on the move back up today. Meta, fresh lows here, getting absolutely walloped. All right, 550 is the next level for Meta, so that coming right down. This is all off the oil and inflationary issues hitting the AI infrastructure build-outs. Softy holding a little bit better, gapping up, remember, because software rather than hardware for infrastructure. All right, but so we'll see if they're willing to hold this move down for that move up, or if this is a two-leg, which is going to be continued to be sold into. Nvidia, all right, getting walloped as well. This is dangerous now with when we talk about failed breakouts. All right, into an area where you would expect it to try and find a bid, 220s, all right, washing these guys out. You'd expect it to try and find a bid here, 220s to 216s, but if it can't, it's in big problems. And Tesla, another gap down, still into an old range. All right, here's its old range, top side of this old range. All right, so it's pretty ugly out there, folks. It's pretty ugly out there. Renewed pressure in the market, OPEX week, neg gamma, and we are trading lower. We will just have to see. I really don't want to be short down here. That's the one thing I don't want to do. So we'll see, folks, if we can get a lift. If we're very, very lucky, we'll get a lift up. I'm not interested in playing the long out of here first thing this morning. I am interested in playing the short in some of these areas. So we'll see if the market is willing to lift up. I've got a feeling it is not going to be willing to lift up, and it's just going to go on a dumpy, but you never know, team. 10 seconds here. Good luck, everyone. Let's hope that they can lift this market up to start the day, and then we can think about what's what. Fresh selling. New sellers caught down there. Can we get the bubbles on for you guys? Let's get rid of this. And we'll put a new one on. There we go. And I'm just going to wait and see if we can return higher here. Either point of control, but ideally right the way up here, and then see if they're willing to sell that. All right, if they can squeeze right the way up here, it'd be absolutely beautiful. Because this is the weekly expected move, and we haven't got that much more room to go down. So ideally they reverse this up, and then we can, once they've got overextended, we can think about the short. All right, so coming into Globex here, and then above this into point of control is the Globex, and then Gex Globex point of control. Lots of sellers still piling in here, so I will be interested around here, and I'll also be interested up here. That's where I'm going to be really interested. All right, Mag's new low. Okay, here we go. Nice. Just letting this lift for now. This is the first level of interest at this point of control. And if we get through here, ideally up to 800s, and then we can make a decision. Watching to see how far we extend here. Hopefully we can go a bit further. Maybe not. Is this going to be it? Into that POC. Zoom out this book a little bit. It's moving very quick. That might be it into that POC. We'll see if they come back up there and stuff again. Whoa, that was quick. POC to POC. If they come back up and stuff again, I'll look at it. Oh, geez, Louise. Well, that was quick. Into a level and away from that level very, very quickly. Back to New York Open. Like I said, I want to get short, and that was into a key level. Failing the New York Open, I don't really want to chase here if possible. Might have to start putting risk on here because we are getting weak. Ideally, we can shove back up first. So quick. Don't know if any of you got that. Trump posted at the Open. Did he really? You got to be kidding me. There's got to be a rule. They need to make a rule like no talking. No talking within the first 15 minutes. Got to be kidding me. Naval blockade in full effect. Well, there you go. All right. Well, that was the move. If you got some of it, hopefully we can get like a little return back into sell. Because I don't really want to be short and new money short in this green box. ES into P1. SPY rejecting P1. Did anyone get that short? That's the interest. That's what I'm interested in. Did anyone of you just take the short at this Globex point of control? The low side of the potential range today is down to 550, so hopefully this can return back up and we can look at something. Yep, you got it. Nice, 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 nice. You got the whole thing. Lovely work, team. Hopefully this can lift back up. We left lots of imbalances on that flush down up towards 700 all the way up to 730s. There's still nothing for me. Here's VWAP. I don't really want to trade the midpoint of this range, so I'm going to sell this. I'm going to need to see them stuff it. I'd still rather up here if possible, but just remember neg gamma, so we can be very, very, very quick today. All right, Mag trying to bid off the lows. Semi's doing the same, back towards their VWAP. If they break through VWAP and the highs, then I think semis would go to 140. And that's where I'd be interested in a sell, really. semis can get up there. Give me 1 sec. I just left my water bottle next door. Okie dokie. Some of these imbalances starting to be filled. What a time to leave the screen. Well, I don't need to attack this market here right now. It's okay. I'm not too fussed about getting short at the moment down here. Let it develop a bit. Like I said, I would like to see semis get up towards that 140. It might not happen, but it would be nice if they would. Stuffed again. Yeah, the buyer's trying to hold this. They're trying to hold that weekly expected move and get that move up to 800 at the moment. There's no way I'm going to long, but ideally higher the better for me to get short. And they're starting to rotate. So semi's coming downside pressure, but still holding the New York Open. Mag's coming upside pressure, trying to reclaim some levels. But train left the station last night, so we don't want to be joining the train late. Volatility is mental. Yeah, well, you're deep neg gamma and you're into the weekly expected move. If you read the newsletter, this is where we thought potentially the market could come into this week. As for downside pressure, beyond that is, beyond 1 sigma move. So we're into that level, which is why I'm not fussed about getting short down here. And if you look at the H1, there's a decent amount of retracement available. I'm not the guy that's willing to buy down here right now either. So if we're going to, for me today, if we're going to buy, I'd want to see this break higher, fail, come back and hold. And that's going to be the sign that, okay, we're done. Okay, and rather than trying to bid down here in this New York Open, I'd rather be very sensible today. Remember, we're interested in this red block, and if they get through it, this next one, and if they get through that, all the way up here. But this is the first level that I'm going to be really interested in. If we can come up there and I can see buyers get trapped and some passive selling, that's where I'm going to be really interested in looking to smack the market back down today. At the moment, it's just requiring a lot of patience. This is what happens when the market's left the station. And there's been huge selling this morning in here. I mean, this is huge selling so far this morning. And what I would say is, have we moved lower? We haven't really. We've whipped lower, but we haven't actually moved lower, have we? All right, so all this huge selling and we're not going lower. So the buyers, the big whales, are down here bidding at the moment. And I would expect they're going to come to one of these red boxes. So that's what I'm waiting for. Because I'm not going to get myself caught down there at the lows in the weekly expected move when there's not much left to move lower for. No, thank you very much. I'm okay. That was a 5 minute on Spectra, yes. Okay, here it goes. So all those sellers at those lows are now caught. And let's see if we can come up here into some of these key levels. Now, the first one I'm interested in is basically, yeah, pretty much 800, 780 up to 830. If we get through that point of control, previous week point of control from 872s, all right? And if we start reclaiming that, then there is potential for higher squeezes today. And look at all you guys when we're down here saying, there's no way it's going to get up there. Well, it's already there. Right, don't short the lows. Right, we've already puked out. Just think about that. We puked out, right, from yesterday's close, 30,100 pretty much. You puked out 400 points. You want to short the bottom of that 400 point range? Not really. Right, we want a rebalance to sell into. Right, ES coming into its VWAP as well. MAG bidding back upside. They're into a key pivot of their range here. If MAG starts to break out here, all right, we got to watch 722.75s. They break out through that on MAG, maybe a little reprice into 25s. Sorry, Qs. MAG, if they break out through pre-market 67.20s, sorry, is what I was looking at, 67.20s. And semis, well, they're just stuck still. They're not really doing anything. There are some passive sellers up here at 810 still, so hopefully we can just keep lifting higher and then it will give us a nice setup up here. All right, MAG getting rejected top side of range. Semi's still holding. They're going absolutely nowhere. They're just literally flat. See if they hold value area high. I'd really like this to move a bit higher up here. Possible. Come on, lift it higher, please. Big rejection from sellers up there. They came flying in up there at 760s. I would like them taken out and a squeeze higher, and then after that we can think about a really good short. Oh, please, market. You're so fucking annoying sometimes. Fuck's sake, mate. So close to getting like a really good setup up there. That's point of control. We'll have to consider pushes into 740s now. Hella frustrating. Oh. Well, that's fucking annoying. Really annoying. Semi's falling out of bed now. Dragging this market down. We're still inside the opening range. I wanted to get short up here. We almost got there. We didn't get there. We're into value area low here now. And there's just no pop because we're in neg gamma. All right, it's value area low bid. Hopefully then they can do a second leg up. So semis undercut. This is annoying. Yeah. Big buyer came in here at 76s. I want to get short. It's just not lifting high enough for me. I don't want to chase. Ay, 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 ay. Why not sell the open print? Well, because we're midpoint of range now. And we're right near lows. Where I want to sell is up here, 780 and above. We almost got there. Mother clucker. Semi's getting absolutely whacked here. All right, so they were going sideways for ages. Dropping out of bed. Rotation starting. Mag's still holding. So Mag pushed up for a new high, pulled back to midpoint. Semis are breaking down lower. They're coming into that 120 gamma. Big level here for semis. I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to force my way into this. Back inside value. Okay, trying to hold a higher low there. Coming back to this New York Open. Range still being built out down here. Remember, we're in a zone where we would expect buyers to step in, so I don't want to be a seller down here at the moment. Now, if they snap and let go, we can travel lower, but at the moment, we can watch this New York Open, but I'm more interested up here at the moment. Another rejection in New York Open. Semi's coming down to that 120. That's the key level. Semi's now at 130 is the key level. Fucking hell, Alex, can you sort your life out this morning? Semi's coming down into 130. I don't know why I said 120. Aye, 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 aye. Well, there's 100+ points off that high. How annoying. Just past 50k, Lucid Daily. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Nice work, man. Nice work. I'm assuming you got short up here. Nice work. Didn't quite give me what I wanted. It got once it came up there, it rejected so hard without any retracing. So what could you do? But if you took it, well done. All right, they're front running 130 here on semiconductors. And they're swapping it with mag. Mag now coming back down to the downside here a little bit. Oh, there's the break of value. I think it's going to snap now. 130 is coming for semis. Fucking hell. I'm tilty. I'm already tilty because I want to be in it. I'm just not going to sell down here. Did I sell? No, I was looking for a sell up here. All right, 780 and above really is what I wanted. So I was just looking for one more push, and once we failed, I was looking for any retest of here, and we didn't. We straight puked, and we're inside this, and we're close to this level here, and it's just too risky. I think we will travel lower at the moment. It's just I need good RR to sell. I want to be a seller. I just don't want to chase the lows. All right, 130 test coming here on Soxal. Alignment now good. Where would I TP? Well, I'd already be out some into this low. All right, and then I'd be looking to see if you can get down to 540s, basically, the bottom side of the range. Let me just check if any new levels have been put in. Yeah, it's a lot of volume. 680, 640. We lose that. I think there's a good chance of the low 500s, 540s. Looks like sellers are getting absorbed. What? Down here, maybe for now, but you know we've only been down here a little moment. Coffee, thanks, love. But what you need to watch is those semiconductors 130. So we traded a low of 130.19. All right, there's a put wall there. It's a big structural level there. That's what they're trading into at the moment. So if they snap 130, let's see what the next level down would be. Right, if they lose the bid at 130 and 129.40s, right, then they are letting go of quite a big range. And there's an old wick low then to come to 120. So there's another like 10 points in it in semiconductors on a wash if they don't trap down there. If they don't find a bid down there and they don't trap, it starts to look dangerous. So they're 130 on the dot right now, right? And they can travel down and take the liquidity at 29.30s. And if they snap that, it's night-night. GEX level at 29,600. Is there? I don't see it. Maybe a weekly. Oh, there is a bit on the end of week. You're right. Yeah, there is a weekly at 600 and then 555. You're right. End of week expiry. You are correct, sir. Do I see an LVN at 600? No. This thing's getting hammered. Fucking hell. There goes the snap on semis. They just let go of that level. That's what this is. Now, if they don't recover that level, they are in big trouble. Very frustrated here. There was almost an A+ setup. God damn. God damn. All right, here's your 600s, and then you're looking for 540s. Congrats those that are in it. The long will be epic. Don't you worry about the long right now. Just start, mate. This market could come to 29,300 today. All right. Don't you worry about the long right now. You just focus on what's happening in front of you. All right. Semi's trying to recover. It rejected Globex POC and didn't look back. Yeah, exactly that. It's literally exactly what he did right up here. And there wasn't no real buying trapped up there. It was just a huge seller rejection, right up here. Just a big selling rejection. And after that, all I was looking is like, can we reprice a little bit? Can we come in anywhere up here? If we're not going to extend, can we come in? And the market just said, no, we're just going to run away. Because we're neg gamma, it's what happens. All right, semi's back over 130. If they hold the bid over the 130, the squeeze back up can start. Be careful here. Be careful here if you were short. All right, so I'm going to show you the semiconductors so you can see what I'm looking at. All right, there's the line in the sand. Move you to a 30-minute. All right, we just wicked that. If they trade back inside and hold that, they can try and come right the way back up to 35s. All right, so if the bid develops here at 130 after taking the liquidity, they can move back upside. So just be aware of that. Things can change here very quick because of the regime we're in. Mag's pressing lower. VPOC now rejected on the day. Back under the 130, back at that key level on semiconductors. There is some absorption taking place down there on that last candle. And if they do get squeeze relief, you want to be very careful because we're in neg gamma. If they do start, oh, don't move that. If they do start bidding back aggressively, you want to be very careful. At the moment, the sell's still intact. But this 130 is starting to be bid on semis. I deleted Gex, did I? Oh, I did. Sorry about that. My bad. Thanks for letting me know, Vlad. All right, Mag's finding a bid near the lows at the moment. Semis are still holding 130s. You legend. Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah. So if you're just joining, I want to be involved. I ain't getting involved around here. So that's why you can see me sitting still at the moment. I'm not really interested in the long. Like I said, the only time I would be interested in long today is if there's a huge overextension, or if we trade up to here and we pull back and then they say, hey, we're not trading lower, right? Because it would be a bigger pivot. At the moment, what I was waiting for today was the pre-market plan was a squeeze up into here to sell. Didn't quite get there. Once we failed here, I was waiting for a retest of this to sell. Didn't come in. I'm not too interested in shorting the lows here. It doesn't mean I don't think it can't move lower. But in terms of RR, I'll be taking the worst location. This would be the worst location of a trade since the beginning of the month to sell, right? So I don't really want to be a seller in a poor location just because I've missed missed an opportunity higher. Would I long only above previous day value area low? Oh, mate, we ain't getting up there. No, previous day value area low, my friend, is all the way up here. No. We ain't going there today. No, the long would have to be once we base above liquidity being built out. We're not doing that. We're just dripping lower at the moment. Here, I'll take you to an H1 so you can see what I'm looking at. All right, so game plan today was for them to ideally lift into here and then sell. And if they got through that, lift into here and then sell. All right, what we've had is not quite coming to my target of these 80s, and it's just sold. All right, so if I'm going to sell here, where am I selling? Well, this is the weekly expected move. So 80% of the time, this is where we expect the max move of the market to be in this green box. Okay, so I'd be selling a very poor location on the weekly. I'd also be selling right by previous week value area low, which would be what? Deep discount based on the previous week and the week before. All right, now that's not to say it doesn't move lower, but where's the A plus selling opportunity? The A plus selling opportunity would be if we gap down to here and we came to there and rejected that. That is an A plus trade for me, all right? Leaving multi-time frame liquidity trapped to sell lower. Fantastic. We talked about that yesterday, I think. We don't have that. Train has left the station, right? Trying to be a seller down here is not what I like to do. It goes against everything, every way that I try and trade, right? So I just have to be willing now. I'm upset. I'm upset, but I have to be willing to sit still. I have to be willing to sit still and let the market develop liquidity now. Alex, focus on the trade, cuz. Yeah, cuzzy. I am. That's why I'm waiting, cuz. All right, semis reclaim 130s. They're going to come up for this 132.30 test. If they get through that, they're going to go New York Open. Max is still holding its opening range, right? And this is why we don't sell the lows. And here's the squeeze back off the semiconductors and look at the alignment moving back upside for relief. And I will still wait for the same thing up here. Failure into value area high there. Delta divergence up there. ES just got whacked on VWAP. Mags is through its VWAP. Semis are trying to get up to VWAP. So we're in the D of a B. All right, if we think about what we would have here. This is what we have. All right, this is what we have. This is what I'm saying. For me, the long trigger would be a hold of that. All right, I don't really want to go fishing down here. I don't want to sell down here. I don't want to go fishing. If we hold this, okay, we can think about it. There's lots of liquidity to take out to the upside. Ideally, we pop up here, I sell this back down, or up here, I sell this back down, take some covers. If they put in a bottom there, we can long it back up. That's the plan. That's what I'm going to stick to. I'm not going to diddle in the middle down here while it builds out. It's moving perfectly parallel from the channel down at the top. Yeah, I can see that. That's why I'm concerned about it more than anything, mate. Because we haven't really taken anyone out. All right, Mag's holding a bid over VWAP. Semi's coming back down to the 130. The wash is continuing the back and forth. Hey, Alex, let's say I'm up too much on my Apex consistency and I'm trying to lose a little before close. Do you have a strategy for that? Yes, I do. But are you well above your buffer to do it? Otherwise, why bother? If not, I would just say make more the next day. But if it's like a really big outlier and you're really, really concerned about it, I would just grab a micro and just go buy, sell, 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 and get your commissions up. That's probably the easiest way to do it. You could do a mini as well, I guess. Yeah, mini would cost more, but if you're right on that each time, you're making more money. That's the problem, right? So if you buy and sell and it's gone up in a market like this with ATR, you'll make money. All right, semis retesting lows. Value area low here. So we've just gone right to value area high, back to value area low. Liquidity continuing to be built out here. All right, protected value area low. Back to the mid. Semi's trying to hold the bid. Sorry, folks. I know you're gunning for me to take a trade. I will take something. You've just got to be patient with me. I'm also regulating myself at the moment because if we do drift down here today, it's pretty annoying to think that I was looking for this down to here and then here to not be in it. All right, so I'm now regulating myself, being like, well, it's okay. You didn't trade it badly. It just didn't give you what you wanted, and that's key. It's easy to get annoyed with yourself, but you're just like, mate, it didn't give you what you wanted. You were prepared and ready for it. It didn't do it. What are you gonna do? Still churning here. There is definite absorption taking place at 32s or 30s and under at the moment. Doesn't mean it doesn't move lower, but at the moment there is someone who is willing to sit in there. What I would say is more recently we've had some big buyers come in and they are also not moving the market higher. So these sellers at the moment are all in the money and these buyers are not in the money, but there has been some absorption down here. Yes, holding up well. So this is all on semiconductors. So we got the relief and then the sell. We got the relief. I think they got the relief and then the sell. These are still trying to get relief. Relative strength today in Apple and Microsoft. Worth noting for you swing traders. Relative strength today in Apple and Microsoft. I'll give you a readout on that. Tesla 0.65% down. Nvidia 2.39% down. Microsoft 0.08% up. Meta 3.79% down. Google 0.5% down. Amazon 0.88% down. Apple 1.32% up. Relative strength. Also relative strength today. Netflix. All right. 2.71% up. Love that. Absolutely love seeing that. Right, because that is something I want to be bid on. We came deep discount. So always in big sell days, I'm looking to see where relative strength is, especially for swings. So I might even start having a look at Netflix. Trading 78s. Where are we at? On the daily. Yeah, if we can come down and hold a bid into the 73s, above 73s in the next few sessions, I will try and bid Netflix. There you go. I'm going to put that in the swing channel for you guys. Okay, so your target's down here to previous week value area low. New low day on semis. This thing's getting whacked. I'm going to watch this back into 630s now, if they do retrace into there and what they do. There's a lot of big buyers down here, and if we retrace into 630s and those buyers get stuck, I will have a go at it. It's not the ideal setup, but I will have a look at it. Previous week low, remember, is into 534s. Value area lows into 540s. These are your targets that we talked about earlier. This is why I'm frustrated, because this is exactly what I was looking for. It was actually like more like this into here. All right, and I'd be done for the day if I caught that. I was so close, so fucking close. No, previous week value area low is down here, my friend. All right, and there's Confluence on it from the week before's point of control. I'm not even saying it. Oh, man. I'm going to be left with scraps. Where do these last big buyers come in? 89s, 605s, imbalances, and unfinished auctions up to 640. Okay. Mag holding on well. Let's see if this can lift up, and then if they sell it. ES now falling out of bed as well to come into its Globex low. Come on, please. Come and fill some of this up towards 640s. Please. Just, oh, neg gamma, just not getting me in at any key level once we break. Yeah, I feel the same. Pop up towards 630, 640, and I take the scraps. That's it. That's how I feel right now. It's exactly how I feel. But this is a problem when we go neg gamma and we don't get the entry we want. We run away fast, right? And then the chance when it doesn't give relief, it keeps running away and running away and running away. And the problem is if we take all the low-hanging fruits and we look for the continuation trade, there's very little to continue to. At the moment, we can still potentially trade down to previous week value area low and previous week low. If we can pop up a little bit, we can think about that. Do I ever look at Tanuki Trade live on their website? Yeah, mate, I have it here. I pull it up here, right here. So it replaces Bookmap on the screen sometimes for you guys, but yes. Possible to go longs now? There's no reason yet, mate. You're just, if you're longing now, you're fishing, aren't you? Structurally, we haven't changed anything. Is it a good area? Absolutely. It's a great area, right? Absolutely. It's a great area. But have we structurally shifted anything? Have you seen Soxal recover anything? Have we shifted anything even on the Qs? No. So, like, you're going to need to see, you know, big selling getting stuck. You need to see a higher low, ideally a reclaim of this, then maybe, right? So like at the moment, we don't really have that trigger. All right, I'm watching this now. First few imbalances filled here. Let's see. There is an unfinished auction up towards 640. So I'm going to watch 630, 640, see if buyers come flying in and they stuff it. And if they do, I'll attempt to trade this lower. And I need to watch that 130 over under on the semiconductors. Don't you just fall short again and then roll. It's a big positive delta candle, this. A lot of big buying in this last 5 minutes. Biggest we've seen on the day. There's a big delta flip here. Here's value area low. All right, starting to perk my interest now. Let's see. Tape here. Watch semis into 130. If semis reclaim 130 and we reclaim value area low, we go back into range. And I do not want to get caught in a short squeeze if that's the case. All right, I'm in. Tight stop. Nice. Fantastic. All right, stop break even now. Lovely. Now, I don't want to see them hold a higher low here versus 89 where that last big buyer was. And if we pop up and fail 607s, I might even add. What do you want to do here, mate? Are you going to squeeze me out or are you going to fail here? This might want more. All right, there's my stop taken. I got scraps on that and that's it. All right, high, low held. I literally got scraps. Ay caramba. All right, that's the first high low formed. We just said don't want them to hold the high low. They did. All right, back into here. I would say if they come back inside this, this then becomes available. Remember, my main entry I want to be short is all the way up here. If we start recovering value, I will consider what could happen. I'm watching semis into 130, and that's going to be the key point. We tap value area low. What, for that short trigger? Yes, that's exactly what it was. We tapped value area low, failed away from it, held the high low here. There was delta down there, which is why I was watching. I got some out here into 88s and 607s, and they held the pullback through 607s. Remember, I said if they reject 607s, I'd add. They didn't. They're trading through. They're at value area low. They're going to come point of control. If they trade through that, they trade all the way back up. So I had big buying down here. Delta at the lows does look good. Big positive delta candle this. So if they can hold a higher low now, there is potential relief for upside. It's a big if because it's going to depend on semis into 130, but it's looking better for potential squeeze here. So I'm open to it if they can hold back inside value for the squeeze. So I'm watching this right now to see if they're willing to hold this at the moment. Here we go. Here's point of control. So if dips hold 607s, I'm interested. If they then reclaim 620s. $590 was your trigger long. Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's why I said I don't want them to hold 590. So If they come back and flush down and hold 607s to 590 now, ideally 607s, right? The next big buyer up to protect him. Please don't just do every move without me today. Please. Please, market. Please. Right, there's point of control. Right, you don't have it on here, but on Ninja, we just tap point of control. Right, I'm going to see if they hold 607s now. Semi's rejecting 130. There's 607s. And I won't long unless we hold this and then reclaim value. Because at the moment we can still travel lower. There's no pivot yet, but we're into sort of key level where it might want to hold. No hold of 607s, 590 and 607s the next level. There is an unfinished auction towards the low. Semi's coming back down, rejecting 130s, traveling back down towards lower day. Mags is into VWAP, they can potentially hold here. For me, the trigger long would be a 590 to 607 hold and then a reclaim of value, not beforehand. All right, so it'd need to basically have an attempt to break lower here twice. 1, 2. If they can hold this and get back inside this, maybe I can trade this long rotation, which is what I'm watching at the moment. And then the higher we go, the more interested I'm going to be, and then the short back down. At the moment, we're rejecting value. Alex, trade again. What for the downside one? I don't know, man. That was quite a clear fail break lower at the moment. Depends what semis do here. They are rejecting 130s, but they're not traveling to lower day. We've seen delta divergence here again. There is a buyer here trying to absorb. There is a buyer here trying to absorb in here. It's a very tough trade playing a mean reversion here, but we'll have a go at it because I'm not left with much else to do. We've got to trade back inside of value here. If they can't trade inside of value, then they're going to sell it against it. Okay, here we go. Rejecting value again. Can't hold inside value at the moment. Big level, this LVN here. Sellers are defending it right now. If we recover it, I want to be long for the move back up. Okay, I'm starting to feed into this now. And I'll risk 607s. Here we go. Let's see if we can add now as well on pullbacks. And if you want to TP some out here in towards 46s, you can, because that's point of control. They can still reject this. Looking to add this pullback here if possible, if we can hold. Big seller down here being absorbed. That's good. Added a little piece. See if we can accelerate now through 47s, get up to New York Open. Let's fucking go. Patience, 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 patience. All right. Reprinting a zero print here. Peeled some off, and we'll see if we can get up towards 700 now. Either way, he's got a trade finally today. Fucking hell, mate. All right, it's peeled some off into VWAP. I'm trying to see if we can get up towards 690, 700 now. All right, so we're long from here. All right, peeled some off here. If we can keep squeezing, if we can get above this, this becomes available. Otherwise, like, stops moved in here now. Whatever happens, happens. If we go, we go. Fantastic. We'll get the relief. All right, numerous attempts to break lower, which failed. Okay. Yes, please, darling. Hey, sweetheart. All right, so numerous attempts to break lower. 1, 2, 3, recover of value. Shorts get trapped. Here we. And you guys wanted me to fucking chase today. I swear you guys wanted to get me caught today. You wanted to get me caught. We have an unfinished auction towards these 690s, so hopefully we can get up there. This is looking good, folks. All right, I would say make sure you're paying yourself. We're very thick on a node. Remember, this is a counter trend trade. All right, we're very thick on a node here. It's a counter trade. All right, and if we get lucky, we get this move right the way up here. Legend. Love you. What time are you back?
Not too late.
Cool. I'll give you
hard stops.
Oh, you gotta love her. Oh my god. Here we go, folks. All right, into this blue line. All right, New York Open. You can trim some more at New York Open. And then if we get lucky, we're going to get all the way up here again. And then ideally up here. This would be amazing. Let's fucking go. Oh my god. I was getting stressed today, I'm going to be honest. I was getting stressed thinking I'm not going to get something. What a squeeze, yeah. Now, who can tell me why we squeeze violently on days like today? Why? There's a free video on my YouTube on it. Why? Why do we squeeze violently when we squeeze on days like today? There we go. Neg gamma. That's it. So when the turnaround happens, it can be very violent. This is why you gotta wait for the turnaround to happen, because then you know they're gonna have to buy the underlying asset back. We should, all right, we should trade a little bit higher here. We should. Hopefully they don't come down and take any of our stops out. We should trade higher here. There are unfinished auctions above us, so ideally we get through. The unfinished auction is at 87s, and then we've got the New York Open at 690s, and we get through that. We go green on the session, and we can trim some more out into the push towards 707s. Anything above that is a bonus. All right, so what we would like to do is get a little bit more out in towards here, this blue line. Don't be a dick for a tick. All right, we need pullbacks. I would say move your stop up and protect sort of 625s. Ideally, they don't trade into that and they hold 630s. All right, so our first entry from like down here. TP some here, this wick here, and then we can try and get up into these, and then we can move this up on runners as we get going. Remember, the main bias today is actually to be a seller. Right, we actually want to be a seller, but we expect relief, and I'll remind you why I didn't want to short down here. All right, this is where we really want to short. This is the next area we would want to short. This is the next area we would want to short. This is an area where we expect the market to find a bid. Okay, so we don't want to short here. It takes discipline. Honestly, every part of my body wanted to slam short here, right? It takes discipline not to do that. It also takes discipline not to go fishing. We don't go fishing, all right? The only people, if you go fishing here and we're this sized, you're going to get hit. The only people that can go fishing here are these guys, all right? These guys can go fishing here because they can absorb the tape. We can't. All right, so we need to wait for them to come and show us that they're there. I really don't want this back under 620, 630. There are imbalances down here to fill, but I really don't want this back under there. So I want these pullbacks to hold and just to accelerate away higher. That's it. That's a good way of putting it, Wacko. Let the whales fish in the deep. Remember, like we are those little fish, right? That like sit on a whale cleaning them. We just get in their little slipstream, right? That's what we are. We're little minions. We're nothing. We're nobodies in the market. You have to remember that. We are absolutely nobodies. All right, we're puny little fish. One whale's tail would slap us and we're all dead, right? So we have to make sure we're in alignment with what they're trying to do. Remember, the main move today is to be a seller. What I was trying to do this morning is the opposite of what we're doing now. What I was trying to do this morning was sell up here, right, for this move down here. That's what I wanted this morning. It was part of the pre-market plan. If you're joining late, right, here's the plan. That's the squeeze relief. What I wanted to be was a seller. if we break down under. Oh, did it not put my other one in? Well, that's fucking annoying. There you go. Need to watch moves to 29,800 to 30k to see if sellers are there. I don't know why. We can sell further if and when we extend back to those. It obviously missed one of my drawings this morning, which is quite annoying. Sorry, team. I didn't even realize that. But yeah, I was looking to sell this block back down. This is what we're now in instead. We're in the relief rally up. Did I put it somewhere else? That's pretty stupid and annoying of me. I'm very sorry about that. Okay, we've taken that unfinished auction there, so filled some more while we were looking over on the screen. New York is still being rejected. There is still a chance we can move up to 700. I'm down to about 20% left now. We did repair that unfinished auction at 87s. The next targets for me are 700, 735s, and then high of day in the New York session. Let's move the stop up here because I don't really want to give too much back here. There are some imbalances we can fill. So I'm actually going to protect 47s here, and I expect to get washed out. Where's that other imbalance? 43s. Might be a bit stingy of you, Alex, but let's see. All right, semis back to VWAP here. We don't want semis to get slapped on this New York VWAP here, right? We want them to trade through and the upside. They're through 130s now, which is the important over-under. If we get through VWAP, there's potential squeeze up to 33s to 34s on semis. Mag's approaching higher day. So we are the right side of this curve right now. We've traded this really, really well. I'm really happy with how we've executed today now. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I would have written it in here. We can sell further if and when we overextend, turn back move, and can be tested on a squeeze. If I'd like to see a bid form early, possible drive up, and then we can short into as we've lost key levels. I need to watch 29,800 and 30,000. So that's what I was watching for this morning. I wrote it, but for some reason it didn't go in there. There's the 800. That's what I was looking for, the squeeze up. And I did call it from, we went through it pre-market here. I literally drew it out for you, what I was looking for. I mean, you all know what I was looking for because I missed it. It didn't come up to me. Yeah, semi's getting stuck at that New York VWAP. They're at that 130. They might go sideways here for a bit. We'll see. Like I said, we've paid ourselves most of the money now. VIX hibernating. Yeah, I mean, it's just a weird week for VIX. Came up to the 16, couldn't reclaim 16s. We're into the gap now. VIX potentially pulls back towards 1550s. Remember, we have OPEX this week. So coming to Thursday, I expect volatility to pick up. It'd be interesting to see what the Fed minutes say from previous FOMC tomorrow, because there was a discrepancy. They didn't all agree. You know, last week we got a weird report thinking, well, maybe we'll get cuts. Well, now oil was breaking out and we're back at what looks like, you know, not very good war situation in Iran. It comes down much deeper. I'll take my stop here. It's imbalance one filled. Next imbalance 44s, and under there be 28s, and I'll be out if we take that second imbalance out. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what they say on the minutes. If there's some comment on FOMC saying, you know, oil's a problem, diesel's a problem, the yields are a problem with those three voters who wanted hikes, then we know coming into the next FOMC next month, they're going to be saying the same rhetoric, right? Did I see the spoofing attempt? I didn't. Sorry, mate. Sorry, mate. I missed it. I haven't really watched the order flow since we've been in down here. Kind of like it either goes now or it doesn't. What kind of size? Oh, I just missed your message. It's just moved. Did you just delete it? I missed the message. You feel like this is a good spot for short? Not for me. I don't think so, mate. On what time frame? There's an edge here. I mean, on the lower time frame, if you're just talking about here, right? But not on anything else. On any other time frame, this is an awful spot to short. So you're really focused in on this, right? And what happens if they break and hold this, right? Where are the better spots to short? What are the red boxes? Those are the spots where I think is a better location for a short. Can they reject this? Well, of course they can. They can reject it. But have you seen a move up and a failure? All right. Have we trapped all these participants yet? Have you failed to break and come under it? No. If we do that, okay, maybe we can talk about it. We're in the middle of the range today. You mean the daily? On the daily. The difference is, I agree with you. You mean this? Yeah. We're holding 2026 value area high right now. It's a deep drive in. What is now important over the coming days and weeks is there a recovery here? Or is this rejected and we come to the underside, and is there more weakness? Remember, like, these are wide Bollingers right now with the mean in the middle. If we're going to do a mean retest, that is a failure to reclaim, right? This is okay structurally. It's not ideal for bulls, but it's okay if they can get back above 800 and certainly above 30,000. If they can't get above this 900, they are in trouble. If they can't do it, they are in trouble. And certainly, if we come under here and reject, they're in big fucking trouble, right? But like, what did we do on ES? We did talk about it. Did we come into it? Almost. So you're seeing an early reaction here, all right? Late bulls get trapped. We come back down. They become the liquidity. Now, does ES bid in one of these zones? If this holds for a day or two, 20-day will slowly come up, and then maybe they can re-support the bid back out. So it's not over for the bulls yet. It's not over for them. It's not very pretty in the land of NQ for them, but it's not over for them yet. Brandon, $600 payout today from trade day, 791 on TPT, 1,980 on Legends, 800 on Lucid. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, buddy. Brandon again. Well, Brandon keeps turning up day after day, right? Brandon sticks to the rules and turns up, and that's what you've got to do. Did I just see a 700 lot seller up there? Are you fucking kidding me? Nah. I did. Wow. All right, 700 lot seller at 682s. Fuck me. Well, that's a big boy. If we drop under this 50 range here, I'm going to stop out on a runner. So there is someone up there refusing to let the market higher. Some big boy at 781 lot, and he is at 710 lot, and he is at 681 market side. If we trade through him, we will see relief, but he has just hammered the market up there, absolutely hammered it up there. Semi's heavy here. So big rejection on VWAP here. This is the 50s level. 2 more ticks and I'm out. There we go, I'm out. In front of that imbalance. I was trying to hold in front of it. They just tagged it. It might be an Alex trade there, but we'll see. So out on a runner for me now. Best fill was this New York Open. 70 points, 70 odd points. There is a huge guy up here. Huge. refresh selling up there. They can travel down here and reprice this and still bid it back out, but I just didn't want to give too much back on the trade. Alex out, now we go. There's a good chance. There's a good chance because you've just repriced. You've just repriced, right, these imbalances. Like I said, if they want to come down here, they can. And they did just wick it and go. I said it. I even said it out loud. It's probably a stingy stop, but I'm going to be stingy because I know I'm going to counter trend long. Semis are coming right back down in. Look at the divergence here. MAG is in a bid. Semis failed that bid and is coming back down. IGV failed the bid and is coming back down. Rotation has started again. They are rejecting this shelf. Whoever said it's a good short, and I was like, only on the lower time frame, but they are rejecting it. Just depends whether they find this bid in this same area again here or not now. Fucking Oscar Health, mate. I cannot get a fill on that thing. So annoying. That's going to be my biggest miss of the year. Is that's a 100% mover already. 3 attempts I had at that on swing long. All right, coming back down. This is the next imbalance filled. This is why I took the stop. Remember, these imbalances can all be filled. There is an unfinished auction at the lows if they want to come for it. Why not follow the large 700 lot? It's just one. It's just one guy though. Structurally, right? What are you going to do then? I was in the longs. All right. What do you want me to do? Get all out and just go short here, back down to here, and then what? And then if this holds, am I going to go long back up and then just build out this? Mate. All right, Elizabeth, I've tried to be patient. It was a good location. We even said it's a good location on one time frame. You know, I've tried. I've really tried with you, and you've tried it all day, and you're just non-stop, over and over and over again with the same bullshit. And no doubt you're going to build another thing and come back under here in another name. But guess what? I tried to ignore you earlier, and goodbye. We've had enough. Yeah, she's gone. Elizabeth, if you're listening, you are the new Karen. You are definitely the new Karen. Yeah, exactly. Immediately makes new email. Immediately gets deleted. Turns up every day. Doesn't know what they're doing. Alex was extremely patient with her yesterday. Extremely patient, even though she felt the need to take up all the chat, and it's all about her questions all the time. No one else is allowed to think. She has to like be miss hindsight. And today it was just enough was enough. Okay. You're acting. What annoys me is like you're acting like we've lost the trade. It's like we took a nice winning trade here. We're waiting to see how we develop in here. That's it. You can't zoom out. You need an opinion. Opinions are like assholes, and you've definitely got a fucking big asshole, mate. So. All right, semis still not taking lower day. We're still bidding value area low here, and it's holding. Mags broke out through high of day and is pulling back and holding. We have divergence here across the market. VIX traded into its gap and is holding and finding a bid at the moment. Semis trading to lower day now. So this is all on the semiconductors again. Yeah, relative strength in Netflix. It's amazing. I've put some wish orders out on my broker for Netflix. See if it comes in the next few days for us. Yeah, semis breaking down new lows. You are correct. So they failed the 130s. They came inside 130s, hit VWAP, failed it. New lows here. Now it really depends if semis want to trade down to 25s and then 22s now, and what the rest of the market does in response, or if this is a fail break and a hold the value again and we trade back upside. Remember, we are near value area low from previous week. We are in expected moves. This market normally would not trade too much lower than this. And there's the hold of value. We'll just see how this starts to build out. I will look at this same trade here if they can't break lower. If they start to bid and hold here, we will consider it, especially if semis come back inside the range. We consider that same trade. Remember, it's the same location as earlier. We need to let this develop now. What was the blue line near the take profit? That was the New York Open. Mag's holding the bid. Semis coming back inside of IB here. It's a really important level for semis now. I'd say 2660s to sort of 2720s. If they rebid that, it would be a failed auction lower here and we will hold value. If they can't rebid it on semis, we'll probably get a washout with them. Here's the wash on semis. Was there a 1,000 lot buyer at those highs? No. Not what I saw. Let me have a look. No, there's a huge seller, mate. Right here. And in this pocket here, there was over 700 lots traded. It's a huge seller on a rejection here. All right, so he let it come through under and then just absolutely slammed it. And all we're doing now is moving down to where we found a bid from this morning. Remember, this is where we bid back up. We're now into this level. If they lose this bid, we're going to trade down to lows. We haven't retested. There's been no drive. Right, there's been no drive back to here to then sell back in. There's been no proof of anything. So we're just inside the range now from today. And there's still an unfinished auction at 77s. We're just still hovering around value area low. Semis are continuing to stay weak, but they're trying to come back up for initial balance now. And it all depends whether they reject initial balance a lot on the semiconductors, because we are absolutely following pressure in semis more than anything else, because MAG is holding pretty well here. All right, semis are the weak. IGV's bidding back. Semis can't find a bid at the moment. They have just fallen out of bed. Alex, is there a difference for TradingView and Ninja, as I can't partially sell on TradingView via Tradeify, But is that a trading view problem? Now, that sounds like a trading view problem. You should always be able to partially sell no matter who you're using. If you were trading on Tradeify, you could definitely partially sell. I'm sure you can partially sell on TradingView. You'd need to change your order quantity. I've never traded on TradingView, but I'm sure you could. Maybe someone else can help you. All right, semis back to IB. And if they get back inside IB, remember, then you get the relief back up. We are still holding value here. So this is the same kind of areas earlier. And we're watching semiconductors for them to make the decision. If they reject initial balance, then we can trade lower to 125 on semis. And this thing will make a move down to previous week value area low. If they can't trade lower and they trade back inside of initial balance here and MAG continues to hold, then there's probably relief back up because it's been a straight sell. Again, this is very typical negative gamma. Once we let go, straight sell. No retest of this. All right. And we are now watching this and watching semis, which are doing this on their IB. And once they make the decision, we are either going to see this or a retest of this shortly. I'm not talking about us testing. You need to listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking about semis testing their IB. All right? Semis testing their IB. That's what I'm watching. That's why I keep looking over here. New lower day semiconductors. And value rotation, and maybe we rotate to previous week value area low now. You'd expect it to do it at this point. And next stop for semis will be 125, and then all the way down to 122. So just got to zoom this out because we're going so far back. It's a big level here into 25s, and then 22s can come pretty quick if they stay heavy. MAG's pulling back into VWAP now as well. There's your new lower day. We still haven't got to previous week value area low. Got to zoom this out, and if we lose that, what is the edge of this? Just put this in previous week. Add that low volume node in. All right, selling into these lows here. Missile out UAE, really. Why did I long instead of short the last trade? Here? Are you serious? Why did I long there instead of short it? Well, we were long, and then I exit my partial. Fucking hell, like, you guys are incredible that you, for some reason, think that we need to be able to take both sides all the time, that we can't sit there and try and let a runner work. Like, it's actually madness how you guys think. Like, you think that we're like a robot and that we're going to, you know, oh, we're buying this and we're exiting full, and we're short this, and we're exiting full, and then we're selling this, and we're exiting full down here, and we're buying this, and we're buying this, and we're exiting full, and now we're exiting full, and we're going to... Fuck, man, are you fucking insane? We're not robots, all right? We trade what's in front of us, we take partials, we take stops on the rest, and then we wait for the next setup. It's absolutely madness how you lot think. Like, it is fucking madness how you lot think. We are not robots. We trade what's in front of us. Right? We try and give a position a chance to work and give it a chance, and we take the money off the table when we're in profit, and when we stop out, we stop out. That's being a trader, mate. This whole idea that you're going to get every single little fucking tick of every move and just follow every... No, you're fucking mental. All right? No one's doing that. All right? The only people doing that are algorithms. No one else. It's actually getting exhausting with this chat. How this like idea that you need to be in a trade even this morning when I didn't get my fill up here and I sat. Why aren't you in this? Why aren't you in that? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you you guys can't sit still and zoom out. You just can't seem to do it. Just relax. We took the trade off once it failed. It's as simple as that. Exactly. Another reminder, you pay for the channel. Well, that's it. If it continues, we go members only. Like, it's much easier for me. Into previous week value area low here. Semis are into that 125. Mags is into VWAP. And if we break previous week value area low here, we are then thick from the week before down to 500, and under 500 to 435 we are thin, and that would be the weeks before's value area low. Now this is also a prior week point of control, so this area here is a very big area, and if they lose this, we travel down to the next spot. Mags are finding a bid here, Semi's still not finding a bid. Here's the semis dropping 25s now, and they can start to accelerate down to 22s now. Semis are absolutely falling out of bed here. And previous week low is down here as well at 533s. And we're coming into previous week value area low. The same level that apparently we lost much earlier, according to Elizabeth, who just now makes things up as well. But here we go. We're coming into previous week value area low, which exists down here, which is why we are seeing some form of response down here. There's a lot of bid on this tape, all the way down to 500 at the moment. Yeah, Brett, Netflix looking really good. That relative strength's good. I just want to see if it pulls back in the next few sessions for a rebid. Is the expected move from Tanuki? Well, for today, we're way beyond the expected move, mate. So based on, do you mean previous day or previous week? Based on previous day, the expected move was at 30,353. Based on pre-market, it was a maximum of 29,970. Based on the open, it's 29,933. All right, we are well under it. All right, the move today is saying 690. We are well under it. All right, we are in expansion mode of neg gamma at the moment. Well under it, right? And semis can keep coming down here. They still have room to fall further out of bed here. So previous week value area low taken. Previous week low is right here at 533s. You'd imagine under that there could be a sweep of some stops. Minute. Yeah, I mean, I don't see, if semis can't find a bid here and get back above 25, I don't see how they don't come right their way back into 22s and below. There's just a lack of structure. So if they can't get back above 25s here, they're in trouble. So here's the drive up back towards 25s on semis. And if they reject that, they're in big trouble. And there's the rejection in front of 25s on semis. There you go. That was literally it. We are trading semiconductors here today. That's what we're trading in this market. Market doesn't care about this. It's only watching this right now. Can I do a video showing how I lay out my screens? I guess so. I mean, I can just tell you, this side is NQ on a 1 minute, underneath that as a 5 minute, underneath that as an hourly, underneath that as a daily. Here is ES, spiders, QQQ, MAG, semiconductors, VIX. Here is my watch list as well on this screen so I can see what everything's doing. And in front of me is my execution. Since the semiconductor started, I've had such a hard time. How can it be that we only have to watch this one chart and everything else follows? Mate, it's just how it is, because the problem is, right, everyone's so heavily leveraged in semiconductors. Okay, and when leverage starts to unwind, markets tend to follow. And that's what it really is. And I'm not just talking about traders leverage. I'm talking about like the Mag 7s leverage into it. Think about it, like Google was neg cash flow for the first time ever. All right, because they're heavily investing so much into it. What do you mean, my bad, Brandon? You're good. Thank you, dude. No, you're good, dude. The world is leveraged. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The world is leveraged. What about all the lines? Well, these are my Flow Zone System Pro, which I watch across most of the charts, and then I'm just looking at key levels, right? Value areas and gamma levels. All right, Semi's trying to get back to 125 again. We've now swept previous week low here. There was excess down there. There was not strong selling, but there was excess down there. We have an unfinished auction back towards initial balance. We will watch this to see if we reprice through initial balance and hold for the Tyson trade, or if we're going to reject IB. The rejection of IB is not a very nice trade here today, because really we need to travel higher. And this is starting to look more and more. We had range develop. This is starting to look more and more like trend, which means we need to see if this happens. It's not a great location, but this is what we talked about pre-market. If we do see this, we can consider it for the next leg down into 200s. It's not ideal. It really isn't ideal. It would be an anomaly kind of trade. Right, Semi's coming back to 125. This is their key over under. Mag's still holding the bid, right? As I remind you, Mag's still holding the bid. Software holding the bid. Semi's coming to check 125. They're either going to reject and trade lower, or they're going to start to reclaim and squeeze back up to initial balance for them. And they are dictating this market right now. Make no mistake about it. Here they go. Here's 125 check. Right, I'm going to watch this both sides. And watch this both ways here, because I want to see if we reclaim 125 or we reclaim initial balance. I think there's a squeeze up to 600 here, potentially for a long trigger. And if we reject IB and we reject 125, then potentially is an outlier trade downside. I would much rather this squeezes up towards 600, because it would give us better RR both ways. If we take the long trigger back up, then we can get the short back down if they're willing to do that. Semi's right at that 125. They just poked over it and come back under it. So it's definite battle here. Here's the initial balance. So far rejecting. I'm not going to play short here, and I might regret it, but if I'm going to play short, I actually want to drift higher. Keep feeling like volume is low, but movements are just shallow in comparison with prior week months. Well, the volume's been lower and then we've increased the sell. So the last 2-3 day bid up was very low volume. And then it didn't take much to rattle those longs out. In terms of shallow pullbacks, again, neg gamma. Very typical of neg gamma. Once we lose a bid, it happens fast, right? We don't, you know, if we were in neutral or positive, this setup here is more likely. But in neg, this happens, right? In neg flip, this happens. Right? Look what happened once we flipped neg gamma overnight. All right, positive line is up. Our neutral line is up here. All right, that's from yesterday. That's our neutral line. We went negative here. All right, everything changed. Sell the underlying asset. Sell everything. Everything changed. All right, so the regime changed. Semi's trying to find a bid at 125 right now. If they cannot find that bid, they're going to come 22s and 20s, and it will be real fucking nasty. It'll be a bit of an outlier trade on the market. Where's the 20-day? Where's this pivot? 400 pivot. 185 20-day. Okay. I'm interested in this squeeze back to 600, and I'm interested in selling it if we can get there as well. Bid's starting to form here at 550s. I might have a little poke at this if I can, if they start to show me that they can hold it. How much size is he? 487. Like, fuck me, mate. They ain't fucking about today, are they? His value area low again. Semi's weak again. Rejected 125. Already a point down off that. Mag's trying to break out back through 67 towards higher days. A rotation continuing. They're bidding mag and selling semis at the moment. They're also bidding software. Software now green on the day. So semi's 6% down on the day. Mag's 0.5% down on the day. Software 0.13% up on the day. Possible bounce for Europe. What, into close? We've got another 20 minutes left for that though. But yes, mate, like possible sell as well. They might freak out. And leading the charge in semis like AMD 5.93. Let's have a look actually. Let's just open this up. All right, so Nvidia, AVGO, MU, the leader, 7.41% down. AMD, INTC, like they're all getting hammered. Look over here on ES. All right, holding up well. Why? When we sell tech, we rotate into what? Healthcare and often finances. Finance is so-so today, but healthcare, consumer defensive looking good as well. Did WMT have earnings today? Was that tonight? Might have been tonight. I can't remember. I'll check in a minute. It's been a pretty ugly market lately, and it hasn't been generous, but your patient consistency and you explaining things is genuinely appreciated. Thanks for all the effort you put in here and Discord. You're welcome, mate. Thank you. We're already through. I think we're at yearly value area high. I think we're already through it. Here. Yeah, we're through it already. So we're coming to the lower side of this range, and they can really fall out of bed here. If buyers can't defend this, this is what I'm talking about, an outlier move. If buyers can't defend this, they are in big trouble for here. And that would be a bit of an outlier move in one day. It's not impossible. We've seen it multiple times, even this year, but we'd be looking at 3% move, right? We're approaching 2 to 2.5%, which is kind of like your standard in a sell day. If we get a 3% move, it's That's a big change in sentiment. If we lose this grey box, that is a major change in sentiment. Higher time frame. All right, semis already down to those 22s. So I was just talking about. Non-stop sell here so far. Failed 25 reclaim, down towards the 22s. Mag's holding on well. We're now under previous week low and previous week value area low. So previous week value area low, previous week low. So if you were short, these are your targets. You're now runners down into this block. We haven't got much more to aim for, to be honest. I'm just going to reload this. See if they put any new levels on. Not really. 515s, 475, 270s. We're pretty thin under 475 at the moment. We are now past the edge of the expected move for this week. So we're into beyond a 1 standard deviation move on the weekly now. We're down 700 points from open. Not from open, from close yesterday, mate. Because we gapped down, didn't we? If you want to learn about the expected move, go and watch the Gamma video I did, mate. It's free. It's on YouTube. All right, back to previous week value area low. Now, if they reclaim this, right, the plays here, if they reclaim this, this is a look below previous week value and a reclaim. Then you've got IB and then you've got this. If they keep rejecting this, it's going to be expansion of value lower. Right, these are big levels down here. Right, so we've repriced. Remember, yesterday we were holding above previous week value area high. We have repriced the whole of previous week value now. The next level that it can trade down to would be to the edge. 500 down to 430 is the next level. If they keep rejecting and going for expansion, all the way down here is possible. We cannot rule it out. Right, just based on the hourly chart, you cannot rule. Think about this. This is last week's value. We've repriced it in one session. And if they lose this, they come to this. And if they lose this, they come to this. This is a major, major sell right now. What's the difference between SOXL and SOXX? SOXL is a triple leverage. The reason I watch it is because the exposure on it is bigger. Right? There are more people trading leveraged, believe it or not, than standard. It's bonkers, isn't it? All right, we've got some seller exhaustion down here for the first time today. It's the first time I've seen that. Doesn't mean it can't trade lower, but on a lower time frame, it's the first time I've seen it fire off today. Semis holding 22s, and there is no real trigger long in semis until they recover 25s, I would say. And we will watch this previous week value area low. I still would like to see this come up here at the moment. The only trade I've had today is this. Everything else, I was waiting for shorts up here today. It wouldn't come in for me. All right, in and around this previous week value area low. And the big question here is, do they do a failed auction outside of previous week's value and trade this back upside now towards IB and 600? And then what happens when we get there? Do they fail and trade downside? So I am interested if they start to hold value now. In fact, I'm going to nibble at this long versus value. So I'm long at the moment, small size. I'm just going to nibble at this to see if we can get back up towards IB. And then if we get through IB up to 600. So I'm long at the moment, just versus value. Very, very small size. And let's see if we can get up to IB here. So we're long on the reclaim of value here, folks. And I'm trying to get into IB and then up towards 600 at the moment, just for relief. Didn't get fill up there. I wanted to get fill 66 and above. Got to be careful. If we flush under IB, there's got a lot of repair to go downside. So under value. Come on. Can we get a little piece off up here? It's counter trend. Very hard trade this. And if we get over IB, then I'm going to look for 600s. Failing pops. Can't even get up to IB here. And stop is at value area low. Previous week. Semis found a bid. Yeah, I mean, a relief off that 2250 level, but there will be no squeeze, all right, back higher unless semis reclaim 25, right? So while my stop is at value area low, I'm not giving this a wiggle room. And there's reasons for this to trade lower at the moment. I'm just trying to trade the relief to initial balance and then 600. And then if we fail up there at 600, I can think about getting short. So I will trim some into here for a small win, and I'll try and get 50 plus points. And if a runner goes, great. If we get a reprice up here, great. But I'm not expecting it. I'm expecting to trim most of mine off before that. It's either going to be a small winner or a scratch trade. Either way, it's fine. Now, if you want to give more risk here, you could risk down towards 30 here, because it might need to rebalance quickly into 35 to 32s. I'm not going to let it do that. I'm going to let it do it and get back in, because I don't want to give it the extra risk. I'm happy to take a break even on this if required. You hate being long down here. Well, I don't blame you. It's the hardest trade in the book and might very well not work. But we're green, or we take a break even, and that's fine. And if we get up to 600 and it fails, then we can look to flip short. But I'm not going to be a seller down here. Mag pushing for higher daybreak. Yes, I did just say that. Mag is pushing for a higher daybreak. That is the divergence right now in the market. Semis are so heavy, right? Mag is right up here, right? This is all being done by the semiconductors. Right, out here. And like I said, they might rebalance, and then if they recapture bid, I can always get back in. So that was a scratch for me. And they might rebalance down towards 33s. And if they reclaim, I can have another go at it. I'm being very tight with my stops because I know it's counter trend and I know it's a very tough trade. There's the rebalance. Now, if it reclaims and holds again, I'll have another go at it. So if we get back above, what is that level, 40s again? Yeah, if we get back above 40s again, I'll have another go at it. If we don't, I won't. And if I miss it and it just goes bonkers to 600, that's fine. We'll wait for it to flip short when we get up there. All right, here we go. Does it hold the bid here now? We'd like this buyer at 500 to walk up rather than sitting right down there. All right, piece back on here. Same trade. I'll give it a little bit of room. I'll give it 5 points odd, down to 35s. Exactly the same trade. Just wait. I said it might have to rebalance and then do it. Take the scratch, back in again. It's the same trade. We're looking for the same thing. We're looking for initial balance high and then 600. And if you want to move back break even again, my stop was at 35. We can move back break even again. It's a scratch trade again if it goes wrong. So it's exactly the same thing. Second attempt at it. Really want to get a fill up towards 65 to 70s. It'd be really nice if we just fill me up here. Come on. Come on. Teasing me. It's teasing me. Move off so you can see this. Sorry, folks. All right, here we go. There we go. All right, make sure you're paying yourself a little bit here. 65 to 70s. Beautiful. All right, so it took 2 attempts, 1 scratch, and now we're up. And now we try and let this work. And we see if we can get up towards 600. If we get through 600, we might get a runner to go, folks. Okay, and if we reject 600, then we can think about flipping back short again. All right, the importance of risk management. Yeah, the importance of risk management is very, very key. So you're paying yourself some here because it's key pivot. Now, what we're asking the market here is it going to reject this area here? All right. Now, if the answer is yes, we will exit all. And hopefully it doesn't just do this again like it did last time, right? Hopefully it would build out. If they reclaim this, there is the argument for this move here. All right. Again, it would be counter trend, but there is the argument for that move. You must have paid yourself some here into initial balance, okay? We can fail between where we are now and 600. And move your stop to break even or into the money now because it's got no reason to come back down to value area low. If it comes back down there, that is a problem. And we would like semiconductors to break can he talk today? To break back out over 125 to initial balance low. Brian Badonde for you English folks. Brr. We've got a braid on. Brr. I bit Buffett. You American folks will be like, what the fuck is this guy on about? Brr. Jafuli. Yes, JK. Tomato like Renato. Brr. It's a comedy. If you're wondering, it's an English comedy. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, see if we can get a bit more relief here. There are some imbalances here, 80 up to 83s. Ja, foo, 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 foo. I love that show. It's so good. What's this? It's called Phone Jacker. Phone Jacker and Face Jacker. He did 2. Phone Jacker and Face Jacker. Okay, be aware that this can fail. All right, anywhere from here to 600s it can fail. If we get very, very lucky, we're going to get a VWAP retest. But I'm sort of expecting failures up here. Here we go, folks. So if we can get a little bit higher, we can take some more profit, and then we can just hold runners. And if it wants to expand up to VWAP, fantastic. Remember, we came to the edge of the move. I'm going to remind you what we're looking at on the hourly. All right, this is our hourly. Yes, this is our expected move zone for the week. This is the sweep of the prior week lows and a point of control from the week before. Maybe a rebalance here. All right, if they hold this range and build out for the rest of the day, maybe we get relief here. Maybe we get breakdown tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to do. We're just going to have to trade what's in front of us, right? I would have much rather been short in one of these today, but it wouldn't give it to me. So we just have to be patient. But if you were short today, congratulations. What I would say, if you've hit all your low-hanging fruits, right? Previous week low, previous week value area low, those are low-hanging fruits. Expected move achieved. Don't expect much more than that, right? You've done it. I'm going to move this because that's our expected move and we've gone through it. Okay, so I'm going to remove that. We've already achieved it for the week. All right, semis at this 125. They poked above it. They've come back inside. It's a very big level for semiconductors here. I would say ESU level is that Globex low. If they can get back through 116.50, you might see a little bit relief. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. In towards next TPs here. Can we lift a little bit higher? 85 is value area low. I would love this for like a 90 to 600 retest here. I have to watch Slow Horses. I love Slow Horses, man. Gary Oldman's incredible actor. Love it. Is there an indicator that shows previous value area highs and previous value area highs for daily, weekly, etc. that's free? I'm sure there is. I don't know. I draw mine out manually because I don't trust anything unless I do it manually with stuff like that. But I'm sure there is. Maybe someone in chat can help you. All right, if they hold, they can afford to drift right back down to 50s here. If they hold initial balance here, it's a pretty good sign. Right, if they hold a dip here, it's possible, right, that they fail and they come back down here. If they put a higher low in here, then we look good. If you're aggressive, you're looking for it to hold this and do this. Up here, I would expect some form of failure, right, in here. If they don't fail, then we're going to say that this is a failed auction of previous week value area low, which was our trigger long, right? There's the failed auction. Here we go, folks. So let's see if we can get up towards 600. The next imbalance is 91s to 93s if you do want to take a partial there. I'm trying to hold for a little bit more. And do you know what? I'm going to let this work. I'm going to use the bathroom and then I'm going to come back. All right, beautiful. Next TP hit. Fantastic. There's your 600. All right, just required some patience today. This is only the second trade I've taken today. All right, we took 2 attempts at it though. All right, so one was scratch. Right, we tried this. We let it wash us out. We took the scratch. We get back in. All right, that's a nice trade here. We're up 60 odd points. All right, and we're runners only now. And if we come back inside this, great. We expect this to fail. All right, this is why we've taken our profit here. We are holding a runner just in case it does something wild. All right, I wouldn't be surprised if we get really nasty today and come up here. And if we get a runner to do that, great. And this is a bit like earlier when everyone's like, why aren't you short? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you? Because I'm in a long, right? And to give a long, if I'm already positioned long, to give it a chance to go higher, all right, I have to give that a stop here. And once we break that, I'm out of the long, and then I can't just short, can I? Because I'm not into the exit. So it's the same here. I'm going to give this a chance to get up to here and here. And if it breaks lower under here, so be it. All right? You are not going to get every single trade in every single direction. Here we go, folks, through the 600s. Where's the stop? If 630 shorts work, where's the stop? If 630 shorts work. Oh, well, look, I would say let it get up there and prove to you. You're saying you want to get short, but where's the stop? You need to see some acceleration in this, right? So that you can risk a pivot. Otherwise, if you're just going to get into this, right, if you're going to like hope that this LVN is protected, then you've probably got to have your stop up here at 650, right? You've probably got to use this shelf. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Right. Big movements coming here in the market. I don't know if news has hit. What's the time? Oh, it's the Euro close. Okay. So we're hit C now. Lots of big buyers came in the last 3 minutes. So we're down a small size. If a runner goes, it'd be fantastic. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Here comes the semis. All right, what did we talk about? Can Soxal get back through? Can it hold 22s, 23s? Can it get back through the 25s? Can it get to initial balance? All right. Hopefully what I'm saying to you is starting to make sense. All right. Fail, break lower, higher, low, back, hold of the 2250s, back through 25s. There's your IB. All right. Decision time. Are we selling this down on semis now, or are they going to go on a squeeze back up on neg gamma? I don't know, folks, because I'm not the dealer, right? I can only position myself for this move. All right, so we hit the next TP, which is 600. We're now holding for runners in case they come into this LVN, 620 to 630. Pentagon statement, was it? Thank you. I'm just going to read that now. I'm just giving this room. Like, if it goes, it goes. It's one of the ways I'm trying to trade at the moment. I am trying to give myself a chance here for runners to go. Like, so we pay ourselves and I try and give it a chance. Trying not to stop out too early. It doesn't always work. Sometimes it means I give back a bit more money off the top than I'd like, but this is how I'm trying to trade. Trump has instructed his team not to engage in talks with Iran until they're ready to sign a deal. Positive discussions took place with Iran, but Trump decided to wait. Is this a Taco Tuesday? It's starting to sound like a Taco Tuesday here. Pentagon weighing a small US military presence in the Gulf once the Iran war ends. Well, it's not great, but it's not surprising. That's definitely, I would assume that's not what you American people want, right? I assume you don't really want your military over there again. Yeah. I say that as if they ever left. I mean, that's probably a fair point. But what I mean is you probably don't want... I mean, you did take a lot of your stuff away from there. You also lost billions and billions and billions of dollars in the equipment that Biden left there, which I don't think was a particularly good move in the way he evacuated. But I would just assume as people that both sides of the vote, whether you were left or right, a big part of that vote was like no more wars and no more military presence in the Middle East, I think, is what you were looking at. All right, let's see here. Trying to give this a chance to protect initial balance and protect value area low at 62. So I'm trying to give it a chance to protect this. As we said, we hit most TPs. It's a runner only. If they're willing to protect it, great. If they're not, they're not. There's nothing we could do. It is what it is. Semi's rejecting initial balance, so they have the chance to hold 125s now on the pullback, which is the same as us. So if we do hold down here, we will see if it's willing to absorb and go higher, or if it's just going to be back under IB and a wash all the way back down. So I'm trying to give this a chance to put in a higher low at the moment around here. All right, so I'm trying to give this a chance. My stop's under here to see if it will do this. If it fails, I'll stop out and then we'll return back down. Remember, my entry's down here, folks. So I'm just trying to give it a little bit of room to do the move. We did reject the higher time frame pullback EMAs, but we'll see. There's your IB. Strong bid off that for now. Semis haven't come back to 125 yet. How long we got left? 20 minutes. 20 minutes. We'll see if this plays out for us or not for any more. Otherwise, not the best day, but considering what I wanted to get was short up here and it wouldn't come in, I don't think we've traded too badly. Just 2 trades today. Remember, I was looking for a short up here, down to this. That was the main play I wanted today. It just wouldn't come in for us. It's unfortunate. How are we doing on the likes? Can we do some giveaways today? We're way off. We're way off. We need to get to 4 figures for the giveaways today. You want to squeeze here, but the bears feel hungry. Yeah, I mean, it's still setting up. You know, they can protect down here, but if they can't do that, then it will be a failed look inside again. Like I said, the reason we took profit, we expected it to 600, right? We expected this relief to come up here. We expected some form of failure here. The difference is now, structurally, if they want to hold this and bid back up, they can. If they come back under here, they can try and get down into this, right? We positioned long here. This is no different to here earlier. I was long here, tried to give it a chance. It failed. I stop out. I'm long here, take the partials, try and give it a chance. If it fails, I stop out on the runners. It is exactly the same kind of thing. Thanks, Alex. So 700 drawdown because of my crash out on Friday. I've now made it back and some profits. Nice, mate. Good work. We're still holding initial balance here. There's a bid off IB just taking place. So I'm still just sat in this. There is an unfinished auction underneath initial balance down into 64. And there's an imbalance down into 60. And there's another unfinished auction down into 50. So it's possible they come and take all that, in which case I would stop out on the runner. So they either hold this or we're out. It's really that simple. Semis into the 125s, and they need to find a bid here on semis into sort of 125. Ideally, they bid potentially down to 124. If they can't bid that, you know what's going to happen. We're going to move lower, right? So do not fight it. You're in the original position, or you get and you've paid yourself, or you get knocked out. Either way, it's okay. That's trading. That's how we manage our risk. Can we win your course and give away access? No. 0 chance. 0 chance. I give enough edge here for free as it is. We do like a few of those a year. That's it. And they're normally a big competition. Alex, I feel like I've traded horribly today, but still made decent money. Have you ever got that feeling? Well, yes. If you fought against things, if you didn't stop out, if you added into losers, then you need to have a word with yourself. Do not reward yourself for financial gain if you've traded badly. Make sure you give yourself a slap on the wrist. on the wrist and walk away. And then you can just look at it another day. Another defend of IB, right? So that's a good hold. So this is why we're trying to give this a chance. Now, I want to see this bid over 90s now and then start ripping. So I'm trying to give this a chance for the higher low back inside IB to see if we can get up to VWAP. Trying to give it a chance, folks. This is why I try not to pull off the trade too early, right? I'm trying to get better and better and better and better at doing this. Semis, great hold of 125. Great hold of 125. So we need to see semis get back to IB and ideally this time bust through 125, bust through initial balance and then get us up into this for our next TP. All right, I won't be taking TPs at these highs now. I've held through that pullback. If you want to TP some out here at 600, that's fine. I'm just small size, so I'm looking to see if we accelerate away. If we don't accelerate away, it's okay. If a hard time late in the trade develop, I totally get it. I totally get it. And I am, if I really dive in, if I really want to get to the next level of trading, then what I need to do is not take the first TP. I forget which market wizard said it, but he was like, don't date the first good looking girl you see or the first girl you see. Try and wait for the third, fourth or fifth girl. All right. So that's how I'm going to increase my profit. It's very hard to trust NQ to do that, but that's how I'm going to do it. So I'm trying to let this develop, right? So last time I tried to let it develop was here. All right. We took TP and it failed and I stopped out and everyone got very upset, even though I think that's really good trade management. This time, right, I tried to let this develop. I stopped scratch. We came under, we held, we got back in, we hit TP1, we let it develop. We're now going to protect this. If we protect it, great. If we can get up here, fantastic. All right, and we're letting it develop. If it can't get up here or here and it fails under here, then we're out. We're done with it. That's fine. That's trading. It's literally trading. We put risk on, we manage our trade. We cannot control the outcome of the trade. All right, it's part of trading. We cannot control the outcome. We can risk and control our risk and put profit in where we can take it into key levels. We cannot control that outcome. Jesse Livermore, thank you, Exploit the Vibe. It was Jesse Livermore, thank you. See, how do I know you've read Market Wizards? Looking good here, folks. We're looking good here, folks. Crazy, isn't it? We're making money on longs today. It's never something I want to do in a market like this, but it didn't provide me the opportunity I wanted for shorts. Paul Tudor's your favorite wizard. I really like whose chapter did I just finish? Because it reminds me of me. And I reckon I can figure out who this guy is. I reckon he was in some rooms I was in. Simon Russo. He reminds me of me early on, except way more size. And I'm talking about early on when he was losing. Way more size, but the blow up after blow up after blow up on small caps. But I reckon he was in some rooms that I was in because the language he uses sounds very investor undergroundy, let's just say that. And it's funny, the first three guys were all traders in and around Investors Underground and that crew. All of them. Kalamagi and Lance. I know Lance was at his own firm, but is and still, I'm sure is good friends with Nate and that lot. So yeah, I mean, if you were in there, Mike, I don't know if you've read Market Wizards, but the moment he gets asked about his best trade early on, and he says it's something I wanted to print off and put on my fridge, and I was just like, oh my god, you were there. There's only a few people I've heard talk about trading like that, and they're all in that room. Here we go, folks. All right, let's see if we can break out here higher. We're still holding this. Maybe we get 100 pointer here. So You can trim some 620 to 630, and if we get lucky, if we get really lucky here, we're going to come right back up to 700s for this squeeze out. Remember, we're neg gamma, this can squeeze. All right, so 620 to 630, if you want to lock in some profits early, you can. We're going to try and hold this as much as we can here, folks. Here we go. Come on, give me 20s to 30s. Peel some off into this here. 20s to 30s needs to be a TP on the rest, and then not on the rest, but on a good chunk that you've got left. And then if we get very lucky, we're going to get 700, and it will be very lucky. Alex, I'm using TradingView with Apex. I was in the recent long with you. I put my stop in the money, and then the stop turned into a short. I'm not sure what's going on. About to go on tilt. Wondering if you can help. The only reason that would happen, in theory, would be if your stop size was bigger than your entry size. For example, if you were 3 contracts long and you put a 5 contract stop order, it would take the 3 out and put you into a 2 contract short. Here we go, folks. So TP sum here, 20s to 30s. All right, we're now approaching 100 points up. Everyone wants to shout and scream at me because I don't trade what they want, but here we go. This is turning into a pretty good day. VWAP here, please pay yourself. Now, we have an unfinished auction if we get lucky up towards 65. So the next target I'm going to go for is 65 to 700, okay? And I'm down a teeny size now. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear anyone having a go at me because I feel like I've been calm, patient, fair with people today. I didn't want to be long today, but, you know, we didn't get the short, and what we did set up was this. All right, this is kind of what we set up, but we came deep. It's kind of the same thing. I wanted to be short in 800s today. That's what I would have preferred, but there we go. We swept the key levels. We turned around the upside. You should be down to tiny size now. Whatever goes, goes. I'm not going to let this come back under 610 here, and I think it will come back under 610, but I'm not going to let it for my stop. All right, so that's how aggressive now I'm being with my trail. Because I want a positive gamma squeeze here, a negative gamma squeeze. I want, right, what are we looking for? What are we looking for on semiconductors? Did anyone listen to me? Maybe one day they'll listen to me. What did we want to hold? Oh my God, what did we look for here? What did we look for the pullback to hold? No way, didn't just do what we said, did it? No fucking way did that just do it. Can this now get going? Question mark. If it does, we get a squeeze out. We paid ourselves for this move no matter what. What are we watching? Semis. What happened? Fell breakdown. Held. Initial balance. We were long this. We held this pullback. There's your 125s. There's the IB. Question is, can we get through this and squeeze? All right, that's all it is now. How much more juice have we got to go upside? Might be none. Remember, I'm not going to risk underneath 10s here. There's a good chance we come down and reprice 600s. I am not going to let it. All right, for me, I'll be fully out under 610s. Just so that I'm clear with you. Alex, is there a way to move your core to a better price by adding and selling as first in, fast out without losing money? Moving core to a better price. You'll never move core to I'm assuming you mean when we're long to a more discounted price. You will never move your core to a more discounted price than your original position unless you're adding into a loser. Yeah, unless you're adding into a loser, because when we're first in, first out, it's why it's important to manage your position, like if you're pyramiding. So we were long here, we were partial, right? Now, if you added long back here, for example, we're going to move our core to probably the midpoint of this, unless you were all out of this position. All right, so let's say you were 3 contracts long, you were 1 contract out. All right, we come back down here. You're 1 contract back in, you're going to move your core up. That's fine because you're still protecting the range. I didn't add there for that reason, all right? Because this is counter trend. It's much more likely that we're going to fail in one of these regions. I'm now out of this position, folks. We're under that 610 for me. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. We hit targets. I'm done with it. Right now, if you want to hold into this, there is an imbalance down here towards 590s, and you would need it to hold that. All right, I'm now done with it. I'm being transparent with you. I got about 90 points out of that. Back to 600, yeah. This is what I mean. It was very probable to come back here. If we think about structure, it's very possible it actually comes deeper in here and then tries to find the bid. But what I'd be cautious of now, if they fail here now, that's a different trade, right? We got the relief. If they hold this, maybe you get up here. I'd love it to get up there for you guys. I'm happy with this. For me, and this is how I'll analyze this. For me, I was pretty tilty around here because it just would not give me the fill. It would not give me a fill up here. It would not give me a fill here. All right, I couldn't get anything here. I took the squeeze relief here. Got outbreak positive here. Wouldn't come back up to fill me for a short here. Comes back down. We get long here. I think I've traded this as well as I am able to trade it right now in a day like this. Alex, if you enter, for example, long and size in later on Ninja, does it usually show the profit loss of the last contract you sized in? Profit loss of the last contract? What do you mean the profit loss of? If you're long, right? If you're long here, let's just do it with this, and you add here, right? It will show you the average price of your contracts, which will be here, for example. If you then sell here, this contract, all right, you're locking that, and it will now show you the average price of the contracts left, which would be here, right? Because it would just be your ads. Does that make sense? Right, so you're first in, first out. You're first in, first out. Last in, last out. There you go. There's a 600 hold. Said it probably does it, but I'm fucking chilling. That's good. All right, your targets here, for those still long, 665s, all right, and then 690s. And you just wonder, let me just look at the H1 here. You just wonder, don't you? So first decent H1 candle today. Can we get back on into the sevens? No worries. Yeah, no worries. So you've tagged a little imbalance here. You can see I'm flat. All right, there's an old imbalance here from where we failed. What I would say, if you get above this 700 lot, all right, we're in real positive delta. You can see like the delta is, I don't know if you can see that here. Let me move this up. You probably can't see it. The delta flipped, all right, from 11 o'clock. So even though we traded lower, we flipped the delta and we're starting to lift. This is your first imbalance. If we get through this and we attack this seller at the 700 lot at point of control, if we start basing over that 700 lot, he's going to be very fucking upset, very upset. All right, and then things can shift quickly. Now, if you look at this delta at the bottom, right, once we put in this pin low and we saw absorption down here and exhaustion, this higher low here, look at the flip in delta. We go positive. All right, buyer stepped into the market down here, this blue histogram. Can't really draw on it. All right, so we saw absorption at the low. We flipped. We're in positive delta. There is a 700 lot seller up here that we need to be aware of. If we get back above him, a squeeze is on. A squeeze is on. And I'll sit with you all the time. This is continuing to work out. I'll get rid of this now. Sorry. That was just for the example. So your next targets, let's get this right. Imbalance is now and then 665 to 680. So 665, somewhere up here, folks. All right, somewhere up here will be the next TP, and then above that big seller, at 680, pain starts for them. All right. If you get above here and pain starts, and remember, we've had a taco moment down here. Just remember that. We've had a taco moment. Right. You get above here, and I'm not ruling out that move. I'm not. Alex, do you have a time where you entered trades and walked away? A time? Do you mean like, do I ever do that? Yes, I do that. I do it quite a lot in the afternoons because I don't like to sit here. It takes mental capital to sit here. For example, if I had traded this and I wasn't on stream, the likelihood is that I'd go put some OCO orders out and I'd walk. All right. Honestly, if I wasn't streaming, I probably would have put this on and walked because I seem to have a much bigger profit factor when I'm not over managing my trades. And I'll tell you another tip. When I walk for the day and I put my TPs in on OCOs, I put them underneath key levels. All right, I put my TPs underneath key levels because there's more chance of me hitting it then. If I put it above a liquidity pool and it doesn't get there and it comes all the way back break even, and I look at that at the end of the day, I get very annoyed with myself. Are you going to post in your Discord afternoon trades? I don't see. Well, I don't think I've traded that much in the afternoon recently because there's been nothing going on. But yes, we do put them in here. I think yesterday did I trade yesterday afternoon? We might have had some goes at stuff. Trying to remember. But I think I walked away. Time is it? Still overnight session. Yeah, I traded yesterday afternoon. What do you mean you don't see them? Definitely traded yesterday afternoon. There you go. That's in the afternoon. There you go. Ideally looking for this. Positioned long. Everyone else doing the same. Looking for alignment. Other guys jumping in, same thing. All right. We're there. B-Dog, I'm always I always short myself in terms of profit because I don't stick to my original target due to micromanaging. Yeah, you got to shift that. It's really hard, mate. It's so hard to shift that. It is so hard to shift that. Here's the best way to shift that. All right. Trade accounts which don't have consistency rules. Number one. Trade accounts which don't have trailing drawdowns. Number two. If you focus on those accounts for a bit, it is easier to accept a trade that comes all the way back on you because first of all, it's going to make no difference with the trailing drawdown. And second of all, if you got an outlier, right? Let's say you're long here and you got an outlier today that went all the way up here on a runner. With 0% consistency, it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter. That's just a great winner. That's how you should be trading. I mean, if you're trading your own cash and you're long here, there's no reason to get out of this trade, right? So your TPs should be here, and then there should be maybe some into initial balance, and then some up there, and then if we got very lucky, all the way up here, and you never know, that might happen. It might not happen, it might happen. But if we get that, great. If we come back break even, who fucking cares, right? Who cares? That's trading. That's how we have to trade. You'll never see me try and aim for 5 ticks and 10 ticks and all this bullshit that you see other people do. I try and hold for the bigger moves. Like even this, we got the best part of 100 points out of it, right? Could I have done better? I absolutely could have traded this better. All right, I could have traded it better. I could have given it more room. And if I'd walked away, I probably would have given it more room. You thought I got stuck in Starbucks. I mean, I was there a long time yesterday. No consistency and no trailing drawdown. Which one of those? Anything that's most of like the flex based accounts. So Lucid Flex, Tradeify, the new My Funded Futures end of day daily payout accounts. Any adds to swings today? I haven't. I don't think. Let me have a look. I'm waiting to get filled. I don't think I've been filled on anything yet. Yeah, Softy hasn't come in enough. I'm looking at 66s for Softy. So no fill there. Goog, I'm interested if it comes back and holds the 200 day at 31. I don't love the look of that with a failed breakout, but I'll watch it. I'll watch it if we come in there. Meta, bottom side of range, not really that interested. What else we got here? No more fills on Now. No more fills on DRAM. No, nothing. Netflix, I've got some wish orders out. We'll see if it comes in. We'll see if it comes in. Okay, into lunch, folks. Did we get there on the likes? We didn't. Man, it's upsetting. I give all my time and you guys can't hit the thumbs up button. Semi's going for 130. I mean, maybe. Just watch that New York VWAP first, right? 128.70s. That's your first level on semis. Get through that, 130s. Get through that, 24-hour VWAP. Get through that, Squeezy McSqueezerson. Bro, I watched you for some time. Actual Chad you are. When I got in here, I got an entry at 527.75, still holding. Also, my stop loss is right under 600. Luckily, I'm still in the trade. 527. Oh, damn, dude. Near enough lower day. Any idea for when to take partials and when to put stuff in the money? Partials need to be at key areas, right? They need to be at key areas. This looks very different now to what it did look like because we filled a lot of it in, but we were taking partials into low volume nodes. We were taking partials into New York VWAP. The next target is up here. Now, why? Think about your structural shift. All right. This is where we've seen big rejection today. And up here, we have a 700 lot seller, market seller. Now, if we get above him and he starts stopping out and he hasn't already exited down here, then we're going to force a squeeze out and that would be fun. But like this is now a D shape. So we want to be trimming into the top side of this. I mean, again, I'm already out of it at this point, but so you just got to take partials in and around key levels. It's that simple, especially on days like today. When we're long on days like today, this is probably why I didn't give it enough room. Right? It's quite hard to sit in this thinking about this, right? But it's possible because if we build out this here again, this becomes possible. It doesn't have to be today. It might be never. It might be that it builds this out, comes under, fails, traps buyers, comes lower. Also possible. So you just got to take them into key levels and then give it a chance to work. What's my code on Take Profit Trader? Flow Zone. Yeah, so Take Profit Trader, the code is Flow Zone. 50% off there right now. No consistency rule there. 3-day pass. Pretty epic. Everywhere else, my code is FZT right now. 90% sale on Apex. The 100K accounts priced in very, very cheap right now, with no activation fee for the 100Ks. I think there's 40% on Lucid and still a sale on my funded futures with my code for the new, especially for the new end of day accounts. So FZT everywhere else other than Take Profit Trader. Right, I'm just going to sit with you and see if we can get all the way up here. You should be down to small size now. And you're into lunch. What did you mean by tapo moment? I don't know what that means. I don't think I said tapo moment. What's tapo? Yep, TPT is still 50%. Yep, 50% off right now and a 3-day pass. I don't think they've ever done that. They've done 50% before, but but I don't think they've ever done a 3-day pass. Oh, taco. Yeah, taco, not tapo. What did I mean by taco? I meant that this whole move, all right, other than inflationary risk and yields, right, this whole move was like fear of this. And then Trump's come out saying, hey, like we look closer to a deal and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to be as bad as people thought, blah, 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 blah. It's the taco trade. Taco Tuesdays. He seems to always do it on a Tuesdays. Any advice for taking partials, putting stop in the money? Don't want that to keep happening? Don't want to keep happening? I don't know what you mean. I think we just went over it though. Kick ass, right? If we were long here. All right, we cut the first one. We get back in on the same trigger. We TP out. We want IB to hold. We risk here. All right, this shelf, it holds. It pushes up. We TP some more out. We TP some more out. Maybe now you want to risk 94s. Maybe you're stingy like me and you don't want to give back 60 points. So you move your stop higher. All right, and maybe you can use something very simple, like you trail the flow zones. All right, maybe you trail underneath the flow zones. Maybe you trail the previous low on the pivot. All right, because we're protecting. If you think about structure, we are protecting each low. So maybe your stop's here. If we break out here, your stop's here. All right, it's up to you. Depends what you're looking for on the trade as well. Like, are you willing to try and play for that? Or are you looking all or most in here? All right, and how much more squeeze is there than 40 points? So maybe you don't want to give more than 40 points back to the downside. Maybe if your expectancy is it to come up here, maybe you're willing to sit through this, for example. Do I ever trade gold? I have, but it's not a regular feature for me. Do I ever use hero indicator? I don't know what that is, mate. Sorry. So no. Do I trade in batches? And everything's linked at the moment, actually. Everything was linked this morning. Trump activates catering option. Alex. Oh no, you guys are talking to each other. Sorry. I purchased 4 my funded futures end of day accounts yesterday. Since I use Mac for trading, I signed to Trade Syncer app they promote to use Apex accounts with my funded futures. Use your code. Nice. Yeah, I've never used Trade Syncer, but good for copying. So many questions here. Sorry, folks. What do you think of Bruno G? I was really impressed with his first game in Charity Shield. I like him. I hated him at Newcastle. I like him for us, and I think it would be nice for Rice to have a bit more of a rest so we don't burn him out. You also like the Nacho trade. Not a chance of moves opens. Yeah, I like that. I saw that on, was it the Daily Show? They started using that. It's quite good. Yeah, so my funding futures, the stuff with Tradeify, they don't have that, and they also are not doing the free level 2 or the free order flow. So hopefully Matt sorts that. I know a lot of people have asked him. I don't have enough influence there to do much. All right, still holding. You still look good. I'm still going to sit with you here while we try and do it. VIX is still trading near its lows into its gap. If that starts flushing lower into the gap, it'd be good. Semis are still holding initial balance. They didn't quite get to view up. So if they can do the Tyson trade on semis, that would really, 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 really help you guys. Are we there on the likes yet? Got to 1,000 likes. Nice, folks. I'm in 3 contracts and I take 2 off at a key level. My stop loss is still 3 contracts in the money. No. If you're in 3 contracts and you take two off at a key level, your stop loss needs to be changed to 1 contract, doesn't it? 1 contract. So change your stop loss to 1 contract because you've only got 1 contract left, and then you move that into the money, right? Because if you put 3 contracts on the stop and you've already taken 2 off and it comes and hits that, you will be flipped into a short. For example, if you're long and if you are long here, 3 contracts, and you have taken 2 contracts off here, you only have 1 left. If you move your stop into the money here, 3 contracts, and it comes in, all right, you're going to be 2 contracts short side now. Yes? Right. Thanks for getting the likes up today, folks. Let's do a little giveaway. We give away a Apex account today. You know the score. Type FZT into chat for your chance to win a free Apex account. They've been very good to us over here. And they currently have a sale on. 90% sale. For the 50k intraday drawdown, no activation fee, they're $49. For the 100k intraday drawdown, they're $59. Everything else is 90% off. And also, I have some good news. I have some really good news. Not that you lot would care, but I care. I'm going to be a Texas boy, baby. Signed, sealed, delivered. Job done. October, I'll be out of here. I'll be in Texas. Yeehaw! Yippee-ki-yay! Cannot wait. Cannot wait. I'll get an extra hour or 2 in bed each day. Well, I'll still get up early, but I'll get to spend it going for a walk and having a coffee and stuff. And I will save at least 11% on my tax bill, which is the most fucking important part. Here you go. Here you go, team. All right, so this is why I'm staying with you. You're going to get this move. All right, now I will remind you, the big boy seller, all right, he was up at 80. All right, the unfinished auction is here at 64.75. All right, so through that, you need to be taking a partial between where we are now, 80 and 90. It's up to you how you want to do that. But to the top side of this range, you must be paying yourself some money here. If we base above this, there is a re-squeeze opportunity, and we can deal with that this afternoon. But we need to assume, you need to assume that we are going to fail here. You have been long from down here. We need to assume we fail here. If we don't fail here, when there's a rebase option here. Right, let's pull this winner. Three, two, one. Winner is Nubido. Nubido. Are you here, Nubido? Nubido. Let me know you're here in chat, mate. Remember, there's a big boy seller up here. Max is coming back into previous day low. This is a big area where you need to be locking something in. Nubido, are you here? If you do not reply here, my friend, we are going to re-roll it. So you need to let me know that you're here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's the reroll. Fred 2, D50. Fred 2, D50. Let me know you're here, Fred. You don't need to resend it, guys. You don't need to redo it. I just auto re-roll it. Fred, you've just typed, but you just won. Fred, are you here, Fred? Yeah, nice. Congratulations, Fred. All right, email me, please. info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of your YouTube. I will sort you out with a free Apex account. All right, job done, folks. Job done. All right, what would I be looking at this afternoon? Let's start in the higher time frame, walk you back down, remind yourself where you are. All right, daily. Nice reaction here off the 50-day. And nice reaction towards the low side of this high volume node. Okay, I would say no continuation for shorts really until we break out under this now. That might come later in the week. We can assume if they are willing to pin and hold this, we might go into a choppity chop 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 chop. All right, which is what we've done before. This is definitely a failed breakout from bulls. It's not all over from bulls, but they don't regain any control until they get back above 800 to 30,000. All right. Sellers technically have control below that, but it's a range being developed. All right, so don't overstay your welcome on anything. We move to the hourlies. All right, what we have right now is distribution at the highs and a breakdown overnight. And you can see we are building a B shape because really overnight we fell here. All right, this is our B shape. This is a bearish shape here. Very, very bearish. But if we break back above this in future sessions, then we will leave sellers trapped at the lows the same way we left buyers trapped at the highs, and we can reprice some of this LVN. Currently, we are still bearish, but we have hit all your low-hanging fruits. So there isn't necessarily a need to trade lower today. What we might do is range for the rest of the day. If we just have a little look at the gamma, we remain in neg gamma expansion here. All right, so we are in neg gamma expansion. You can see this is a big put wall here in neg gamma. We would expect this to remain as resistance right now, okay, because we flipped it. All right, 680. That is probably your over under. This is also where the big seller was. So get over that, potential squeeze back upside. All right, all the time we're under that, I think rotation of this range can continue for the afternoon session. All right, I wouldn't be adamant in thinking that we have to trade lower here today. Right, we've done a lot of damage. It might be that the remainder of the day does this. Be aware of that. All right, we've had the easy move today already. The easy move was overnight. The relief has happened. Expect some consolidation and basing out while it makes its decision. If we do trade lower today, all right, and we start losing value again, you can look at this next block, and if I take you to the hourlies, you'll see why. All right, this is the edge of a two week ago. So this is current week, previous week, 2 weeks ago. This is the edge of it. All right, it might be, if we sweep this and stay heavy, that we trade to this edge. If we lose 430s, we can come right down into 200s. I would assume they will leave that for later in the week if they're going to do it. I would not assume they'd do that. Remember, we already hit the weekly level, right? And I would say we are well beyond the expected move. Yes. All right, we hit the expected move on all time frames, on all sessions here. All right, so we've done the expected move. So the chances of new lows today are slim. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but the chances of them happening are smaller because we've done such a big move. All right, team. Peace and love, everyone. Trade safe into the afternoon session. Don't be forcing yourself into this market. Expect some chop. And we go again tomorrow. Have a great time. Be safe. Be smart. Use hard stops. Peace and love. See you tomorrow morning.